What is up, ST Racing family? Welcome back to the channel. We hope you had a Merry Christmas and we hope you have a good New Year. If you guys remember this car about 6 months ago, this immaculately clean 2005 STI, where we added the first bit of modifications to it and tuned it. It's a flex fuel car, and on the stock turbo we made 342 horsepower and 412 foot-pounds of torque on ethanol. This time around, he came in with a up pipe. It was a factory up pipe when we did all the modifications. It split and cracked. So we added an up pipe, and he also decided to upgrade the turbo from the stock turbo to a Blausch 3.0 XTR. We just started doing a couple pulls just to get a base on making sure we're good on everything from what we did before. We are about 34% ethanol in the tank right now. It's a full tank of fuel, so we're not going to add too much timing to it on what would be considered our lower octane 93 map. Once we finish up here, of course we're going to switch over to ethanol and do it from there. So we expect some good numbers out of this. Of course we're not going to get the torque out of it that we did before on the stock turbo, but we're expecting close to 400 horsepower without any issue at all. And the reason why we went with the 3.0 XTR, because later on down the road he's going to do a built engine, and we're going to turn up the boost. So stick around and hope you enjoy. That was our first full pull on, as I said, E34. We've done a bunch of small pulls just to make sure we're in the ballpark on the fuel map and timing and whatnot. But this pull, full pull, netted us 363 horsepower, 322 foot-pounds of torque. Here's what the graph looks like. So that was roughly 18-19 pounds in the mid-range, and then it crept up to around 21 and a half by red lines. We're going to take a look and see what's going on with that, and maybe it was the wastegate, internal wastegate that Blausch shipped with the turbo, so not quite sure. I think we have a divorced downpipe on it also, and that might be causing it with the turbo, so we'll have to take a look at that or consider that in what we're doing. So we're probably not going to raise boost pressure at all above and beyond where we're at. I'm going to take a look at the air fuel ratio, as the injectors were running pretty strong there on 93, so I think we had it really rich. But first pull, 363 horse, 322 torque. We'll do another one here shortly. Well, we will be stopping there, and I'll tell you here in a second once I share the results with you. We made 382 horsepower and 331 foot-pounds of torque. We'll show you what the graph looks like. Nice smooth graph, nice flat torque curve there. This is just efficiency in the cylinder head and the cam because they're stock. So the reason why we're stopping there is because we're having an issue with boost creep. And for those of you who don't know what boost creep is, it's an uncontrollable condition where boost pressure increases RPM does. So with the wastegate that we have here from Blausch, it should have been around 17-18 pounds of boost pressure flat the whole way. What is happening As we're hitting that 17-18 pounds once we get into the peak boost RPM area around 4,200, and from there on it steadily rises to around 21.5, almost 22 pounds by 7,000. So what we kind of determine is this car is very efficient in the exhaust system pre-turbo. We have a set of Killer Bee Holy headers on it, and we also have a Perrin 2-inch up pipe. Now we also have a bell mouth down pipe post-turbo, so we're not running into an issue with there being a problem with the divorced downpipe and air not being able to move through there. So what our problem is with our very efficient exhaust system prior to the turbo, what's most likely going on, because the wastegate is functioning like it's supposed to, is that the hole on the internal wastegate on the turbine housing is not large enough to flow the amount of air that we need. And there's only a few ways that you can remedy this. One of those ways is to take the turbo off and pour it out that exit. The other way is with an external wastegate up pipe. Now with the stuff going on right now with the EPA and the performance industry, we really can't do option number 2. And option number 1, we would have to discuss that with our customer if they wanted to do that. And the reason why we're going to have to stop is because we have a set of ID1050X injectors. And on our dyno, those are good for around 400 or 450 horsepower at most. 450 on straight 93, 400 on ethanol. So right now at the 382 horsepower at 30% ethanol, we are at 98% duty cycle at peak RPM. So obviously we cannot push anymore, cannot increase the ethanol content. Now, excuse me, if we go down in ethanol content, we'll probably pick up another, I'd say 5 to 8% worth of headroom, which still gives us a good safe envelope to operate the car in. So our recommendation right now is going to be to run 93 in the car until we can either fix the issue on the wastegate, or we can up the fuel system to handle the amount of boost pressure it's making. Now when we first started this, I said we would be able to hit 400 horsepower without breaking a sweat, and we pretty much almost did on 93 octane alone. Unfortunately, can't control the boost pressure, and there's really no reason to continue to push the car any harder, any further, because we're out of fuel system. So we'll see what the customer wants to do, and this is just happens from time to time, mixing different turbo components, different exhaust components, and this isn't anything bad on Blausch and their turbos or anything, because we've had Force Performance turbos have some creep, we've had Blausch turbos, we've had stock IHI Subaru turbos have creep issues too, depending on the exhaust systems and boost control systems that are in the car. So this is one of those things with turbo cars that you run into, that it's the downside of the turbo world. So like I said, we're just going to recommend running on 93 now until we figure out what we want to do. But 381 horsepower, 382 horsepower, 331 foot-pounds of torque on 93. And the last time it was here, we made 342, 412, I think it was, on E85. We made 309 horse, 368 on 93. So we got nearly a little over 70 horsepower increase going to this Blausch 3.0 over the stock turbo. Now on ethanol, we expect to be able to push this thing at this boost level, probably 382, probably close to 420 to 440 horsepower at roughly the same boost pressure. So later on down the road, he wants 500. We've got a turbo that is capable of it, and again, we just hit this little snag. So we hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up, share it with your friends. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please think about doing so. We hope you have a good one. We'll see you again soon.